I think it's really important that we stand united with the state of Israel and the people of Israel.
Let's talk about why Iranian people in the West are supporting Israel and standing by its right to defend itself and people against Hamas.
For years, Iran and Israel have been political arch enemies.
If Hitler had a Twitter account, it would look exactly the same as Khamenei's. Exactly.
هر کارم بکنه رژیم صهیونیستی جبران شکست مفتضحانه‌ای که تو این قضیه خورد رو نخواهد توانست بکنه.
But that wasn't always the case. In fact, Iran was one of the first Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel after its declaration of statehood in 1948. However, following the Iranian Revolution in 1979, which led to the overthrowing the Western-backed Shah regime, the relationship between Israel and Iran deteriorated. A lot of Jewish Iranians moved to Israel after the establishment of the state and after the Iranian Revolution. And while the relationship between the deposed Shah and Israel remained positive, Ayatollah Khomeini, the leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution, viewed the Shah regime and Israel both as Western entities in the Middle East. Under his rule, Iran's new regional foreign policy became antagonistic towards Israel and its Western allies.
One of the largest financial backers and supporters of Hamas is Iran.
And this tension was played out in series of proxy confrontations with groups supported by Iran. Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Syrian Armed Forces, the Popular Mobilization Force in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. In recent years, Iran has also strengthened ties and support to Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza. However, Iran denies directing Hamas in the 7th of October attacks or having prior knowledge of it. These groups share a common opposition to Israel, and with the exception of Hamas, they adhere the forms of Shia Islam. Iran perceives itself as the leader of the Shia Muslim community in the region. It's no secret that Israel is not fond of Iran and vice versa. Yet, they do share something in common. They have two of the biggest military powers in the region. Israel is unofficially a nuclear power, while Iran has been developing its own nuclear energy program, but is accused by Israel of seeking its own nuclear arsenal.
As long as I'm Prime Minister of Israel, I will do everything in my power to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons.
So why do some who oppose the Iranian regime support Israel?
Israel! Stop, stop, stop!
This is the Pahlavi flag, the flag of Iran during the Shah regime. And this is the current flag of the Islamic State of Iran. Many people that protest in favor of Israel use the Pahlavi flag. And during the anti-regime protests in Iran, this flag was widely used worldwide. For them, the flag stands for their rejection of Khomeini's Islamic Revolution, with some advocating for the return of the Shah. Some Iranians say,
the Iranian government is just not actually, they are occupying Iran for 44 years. And what they're doing in Iranian is worse than what happened over the weekend in Israel.
This man is speaking about occupation, despite Israel being the occupying power in Palestine. The focus seems to be on the anti-Iran regime narrative instead of occupation. As seen here, this message on X is speaking about sharing the exact same values as Hamas and their godfather, the Islamic Republic. And
we, the people of Iran, are hostage in the hand of this terrorist regime. Islamic Republic, Hamas, do not talk for the people of Iran and people of Palestine.
The anti-Semitism narrative is also being spread by some anti-Iran regime activists that are pro-Israel.
The atrocity that is only anti-Semitic.
It's these voices that the Israeli Prime Minister appealed to 6 years ago and said,
I know you'd prefer to live without fear. I know you'd want to be able to speak freely, to love who you want without the fear of being tortured or hung from a crane. I know you'd like to surf the web freely and not have to see videos like this one using a virtual private network to circumvent censorship.
When protests broke out in Iran last year after the killing of Gina Mahsa Amini, Israel was a vocal supporter of it.
We support Iranian women. We support you.
The current supreme leader of Iran even blamed Israel for the protests.
کی این برنامه‌ریزی رو کرده؟ بنده به صراحت میگم این برنامه‌ریزی کار آمریکا، کار رژیم غاصب و جعلی صهیونیستی.
While the vast majority of Iranians don't support Israel, Others advocating for the return of the Shah have used the current war in Gaza to reinstate their case. For example, here's Reza Pahlavi, the son of the overthrown Shah, speaking to Piers Morgan.
I think that the world cannot ignore the elephant in the room, and that is, since the rise of radical Islam as a result of the Iranian Revolution that took my country hostage to begin with, and has since fomented this kind of antagonism, regional instability, warmongering, supporting terrorist groups.
So, it seems the anti-Iran regime supporters who've taken a pro-Israeli stance have used the war in Gaza as a way to highlight their own plight, drawing parallels between Hamas and Iran. But for others, that comparison isn't accurate, and instead find more in common with Palestinians on the ground.